Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at this absolute beast of a figure right here, and this is ThreeA's DLX Ironman Mark 44, aka the Hulkbuster, from Avengers Age of Ultron. So first up, before I say anything, I will mention that ThreeA themselves sent this onto me, so this is a sample direct from them. And as far as I know, it is not out quite yet. I took a look over on HobbyLink Japan, and they still seem to be taking orders on this. It's around the $270 mark, in case you're curious, and I will drop a link in the description if you are interested. But anyway, let's take a closer look at this behemoth. So anyway, jumping right on into the aesthetics, and one thing a video can never really truly show you is the size and heft behind this thing. So over on the ThreeA website, it does give the specs of this particular figure. This is 30 centimeters tall, or 11.7 inches, and this is constructed from ThreeA's renowned DLX diecast system with over 65 points of articulation. So this is a mix of both actual metal alloy as well as plastic, so this is seriously heavy. On top of that, we've got an absolutely mind-blowing paint job. The red on this looks fantastic. It's that perfect Iron Man hot rod red, catches the light so nicely, looks really good, and this is all nicely paired with that kind of almost brushed gold, so it's not too reflective, but it is very nice, very metallic, and very perfect. The silver on here looks great as well, and honestly, I can't find a single flaw on this beast. I will mention one thing though, and this seems to be more of a matter of the actual structure and engineering of the figure as opposed to a flub or something like that, and that is the fact that the joints on this, at least in some places, are not painted. Like you can see here underneath the arm, this is just in grey. I assume this is because when you're moving the figure around, it's hefty, it's big, that you would absolutely destroy the paintwork on it, but I will mention that is there, and it is noticeable if you look from certain angles. This figure also features a whole bunch of moving parts, which does lend a very nice technical aspect to the overall look, so you can see the actual gaps between the armor where it does move, and even when you do get this into some poses, a lot of parts do shift around to make sure it looks natural, beautiful, and awesome from every angle. This is huge and impressive. So size comparison time, and there it is beside a high-grade Gunpla, so you can see it is huge. There it is beside a master-grade Gundam, once again same Gundam, and there is the perfect grade RX-78-2, all the same Gundam in different scales, and you can see the Hulkbuster is huge. And as for a couple of figures, there it is side by side with an SH Figuarts as well as a Figma. So jumping into the accessories, and what we get in here primarily, or well, the only real optional parts in here, are a multitude of hands. So first off, we've got a big old pair of fists. These are what come attached to it inside of the box, and besides that, then we've got some widespread open hands to make it look like it's gonna fire off a repulsor blast or two, and we do have a pair of relaxed open hands as well for relaxed open hand poses. I guess what else would they be for? As for the other options in here, we've got a whole host of different battery compartments. So you need a grand total of 7 AG1 batteries for using with this. Now I don't have 7 lying around, but thankfully I do have a few. So the first LED unit we have inside of the head. Now I'll mention that this is extremely hard to get off and feels like it is a little bit of a break risk. You just have to kind of pull it and hope that nothing breaks, and it does pop off the ball joint. When you do get that off, you will require a screwdriver to get the LED unit out. You need 2 AG1 batteries for up in here. And as for the light they produce, it does look extremely good. We'll mention what I've noticed from these figures, or anything that uses AG1 batteries though, is they drain very quickly, and I do wish there was an alternate power source for using with the lights all over this figure. Next up, we need 3 more batteries for in the back. The instructions isn't very clear on how to actually open all the hatches and stuff on this, so I will mention, to get this gold section off, you actually just press in 2 clips on the side right here. That's what makes it pop off from the back. Inside of that, you do need a screwdriver again, 3 AG1 batteries, and everything closes up relatively simply. The button for turning these lights on and off is inside of the gold outer plate, so you'll have to turn that on or off before attaching that on, and these look seriously good. So as far as I can tell, it seems to be 1 or 2 sources of light that actually then light pipes to the rest of these various ports. And each of these isn't just a translucent part, there is detail inside of them. Once again, the craftsmanship and the attention to detail on this is ridiculous. That looks so good. Finally then, we do have one more LED unit in the chest right here. Once again, you need to remove an outer panel, remove a screw, and then you need 2 more batteries. So once again, in total, you do need a grand total of 7 batteries. This is the same LED unit we would have seen up in the head, and it produces a decent amount of light. Once again, this looks great, and I do wish I actually had enough batteries lying around to see the entire light show. Once again, I wish there was another choice for a power source for all of these lights at once. Once again, the detail in this particular light right here, which I assume is an arc reactor of some description, the detail is phenomenal. We've got some nicely printed or molded detail in there that catches the light ever so nicely. Now I really have to turn the camera down in order to actually see what's going on in here, but to the actual naked eye in person, you can actually see all the detail in here without it being too dark. So once again, this looks so good. Next up, you are actually able to use this Hulkbuster with the DLX version of the Ironman Mark 43. So we would have seen that before. If you want to see the review of that, you can check that out on here. But this Hulkbuster right here does feature a fully opening torso section so you can pop the figure in, or should I say more like half of the figure. First up, in order to open up the Hulkbuster can be a little bit difficult first time, especially when you have to slide out the chest segments. It feels really tight, and once again, like it will break, but I give it one hell of a tug, and if I didn't break it, more than likely you won't. There's a bunch of shifting panels, and this looks incredible, and as far as I can see, it does seem to be movie accurate, which is kick-ass. So now that you do have the Hulkbuster open, you've got 2 options here for displaying the Ironman Mark 43. The first one is, you can actually take the stand that the Mark 43 comes with, and you can attach that into a little bit of a slot inside of the Hulkbuster. So if you want to display your Mark 43 either docking into it or flying around it, you can do that, and this does look incredible. The second option then is to dismember your Iron Man by pulling off the upper torso like this, removing the 4 arms and hands like so, and then you can take this segment you've removed and attach that directly into the chest of the Hulkbuster. So if you're wondering if the whole figure slots in or not, no it doesn't, it's just the upper torso and the head. However, this is ridiculously cool because the entire Hulkbuster retains all of its articulation when the Mark 43 is inside of it, and you still have all of the neck articulation of the Mark 43. So this is still so ridiculously expressive while open, maybe even more so than it was when it was closed up. And speaking of closed up, if you're wondering if you could close this thing up with the Mark 43 inside, yes, you totally can, and that is so cool. Anyway, dropping in the Hulkbuster for the last part of the review, which is the articulation. So first up at the neck, we've got a combination of a ball joint and a hinge, so that means we get a great up and down, as well as a decent side to side. Of course, you do the hatch as well, but that is part of the transformation, or should I say opening gimmick, so I will not be talking about any of that. The shoulder armor is double layered, the top part can pivot a little bit, and we've got 2 hinges attaching the lower segment, so this can lift all the way up and out of the way like so. This facilitates both the opening gimmick of the torso as well as this absolutely huge range of motion at the arm. Look how high I can raise it into the air. Damn, the articulation on this is the best combination of solid and awesome. We've got the full 360-degree spin at the arm, including the shoulder armor, another full 360 rotation at the upper arm like so. We've got a very nice double-jointed bend at the elbow for a nice bicep flex. I will mention that the armor in the forearm here is spring-loaded, so it does mean it moves as the arm bends. Now that is pretty cool. The wrist is a simple ball and socket, but you get everything you want out of this, full rotation and a nice flex and extend. So in the forearm, we do have the full arm taser, and this has a lot of moving parts. It pulls forward, flips back, and then we have some extending parts from inside of it and a little bit of a pivot at this end segment. This looks and feels absolutely phenomenal. There is the alternate way of opening this, which is just the end, which is a hatch just like so, and get incredible. So I will admit, when I got this out of the box, I didn't expect much in the lines of articulation from it at all, considering how big, bulky, and heavy it is, but man, check out this ridiculous ab crunch. I am, again, completely blown away. So there it is, completely bent forward, and that is blowing my mind. And the coolest aspect about this is the armor stays seamless. So there is armor in underneath all of that. So there is none of that kind of thing you get with some action figures where there's a gnarly open gap in the back. This, again, is sheer perfection. We also have a side-to-side crunch as well, so this thing is packing everything you could ever want. The side skirting armor is on ball joints, simple but effective, keeps it out of the way of the legs when posing. So now moving on to the legs, first off in the hip we do have a dropping joint that's kind of ratchety, so it has a little bit of a click between each movement, so it's nice and strong. This drops the leg down so you can get some ridiculous kicks out of this. I did not expect this from the Hulkbuster, especially a big hefty figure like this. This is off the charts. Kicks back brilliant as well, and you can pull off pretty much the full splits with this beast. We've got a nice little rotation here at the upper leg, a little stiff, not the whole way around. Impressed again by this absolutely killer double jointed bend at the knee. There is a lot going on here, and this really can bend. I'll also mention that when you do bend this in the first little part of the actual bending, you get this sliding mechanism in the upper armor. Even when you bend the knee to maximum bend, there is no unsightly open gaps or anything like that, and the paintwork inside is phenomenal. Once again, ridiculous. So yeah, on the whole, the articulation on the Hulkbuster right here blows my mind. This is not what I was expecting at all. The only issue I have is it's kind of hard to move the leg upwards, which is a little bit stiff, while keeping the ratchet joint at the bottom. But besides that, this is incredible. You're going to get the best action poses out of this, and I never thought a big chunky boy like this would be able to pull them off. This also has a great low center of gravity because of the metal frame, so it's not that likely to fall over. This is incredible. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and what can I say that I haven't said over and over in this review? I think the words that repeated the most were behemoth, incredible, and blown away, because that is everything you need to know about this figure. Anyway, once again, thank you so much to ThreeA for sending this on to me. I'll put a link to ThreeA themselves, this figure down there in the description, as well as to Hobby Link Japan in case you want to grab one of your own. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more figure reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video and none of these videos would be possible without each and every one of you watching these videos, including those of you who are supporting me on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including VanFon, Orgy59061, Lawrence Seahack, Kill Me Inc., Joseph Kukluk, Joe, Gunpla UK Limited, Global Frequency Studios, Forsetti, Caleb Engelhart, and Craig Jerry.